Hi everyone, welcome to Human Resource Management on the topic of interviewing candidates. This is the topic whereby the company want to do some recruitment exercise. There are two objectives of this topic. One is to learn some of the example of the types of uh, selection interviews. Secondly, to learn some of the main errors that can undermine the usefulness of interviews. So what is selection interview? Selection interviews refers to a situation whereby an oral conversation is held between interviewer representing the company and interviewees, the candidate. The idea behind selection interview is to make sure that the company is going to recruit only those persons can contribute to the performance of the company in the future. Besides selection interview for the job interview, there are two other uh, occasions where selection interview is applied, which is performance appraisal interview and exit interview. These two I'm going to discuss in the later slide. How to conduct interviews. So basically, there are three aspects that need to be looked at seriously in order to conduct a good interview. First, whether you are going to use structured or unstructured interviews. Second, the content of the interviews, mostly referring on the questions that are going to be used to ask the candidate. And third, how the interview is conducted or the administration part of the interview. Structured and unstructured interviews refers to that in structured interview, employers list all the related questions ahead of time. They already have the question. Based on that question, they are going to ask the candidate. However, for unstructured interview, the question, only the basic question are prepared, but most of the time the interviewer will spontaneously ask new question or unprepared question. So between these two, which one is the best and why? Of course, the structured interview is the best approach to find the right candidates because these structured interview they are they have they are consistent, they are reliable, and this has been validated based on the previous experience of the company. Secondly, structured interview is better than unstructured interview because having set of questionnaires, anybody can represent the manager to do the interview process. In addition to that, by using structured interviews, only those questions related to the job will be asked. At the end of the day, you are finding out the capability of the candidates in answering the question on the related task attached to the particular job. Interview content, there are basically more than two types of questions to ask, but the most popular one are situational and behavioral. Situational means the interviewer will will ask the candidate on how they are going to react on particular situation. Meanwhile, behavioral interview is in the case where the interviewer will ask the opinion of the candidates on matters of things occurred in the past, how they are going to react. Between this situational and behavioral has specific example on how to go about. This is called STAR method. Behavioral STAR method is behavioral type of interview in which uh, interviewees are given situation and some tasks were also provided so that what will be the actions and expected result that the employees could be thought of. Interview content some also job related types of question in which the interviewees are being questioned their reaction on particular problem given and what they are going to do with that particular problem, how they are go about it. Stress interview referring to the interviewer will look at the reaction, the psychological reaction of the interviewee given certain situation or problems. And puzzle question is used to see how candidate thinks under pressure. Most of the time when the employees have equal marks on their interview, the interviewer usually will use puzzle question to choose who is the best candidate to be hired immediately. In terms of administration, there are 4 types of how interviews are conducted. First one is one-to-one, one interviewer, one interviewee. Secondly, sequentially means that the interviewee will be interviewed one by one. Computerized personnel refers to the interviewees, the candidates has to fill up the form through computers, and online is the case whereby uh, the employees or the candidates uh, deal or converse with the interviewer through online system. And on this slide, as you can see, this is uh, the case whereby how the interview is conducted. One-to-one, one interviewer, one interviewee, sequential, one by one, panel board, group of interviewer as a candidate, while mass is referring to group of interviewers asking those interviewees simultaneously. Sometimes the company will interview candidates through phone, and sometimes they ask the candidate to fill up the form, which is computer-based operating. And last is through online video, whereby the potential candidate or those interested to apply need to do a video of their, their of themselves to be sent to the employer. Sorry. In preparing for online video interview, there are some important things that employees need to be care of. In which these 5 things is also what the interviewer need to look at. The first one is look presentable, means that the candidate are wearing the right attires for particular job being interviewed. The surrounding of the place must be clean, and it is worth to test the material, the technical part of the computer, for example, and then candidate can do their own dry run, so that when they are interviewed later on, they will feel more comfortable, And last but not least, a candidate must be able to relax themselves, no rushing, speak slowly, and loud enough to be heard by the panelists. So it's all about interviewing candidates for the first objective. Later I will share with you the second objective. Thank you.